Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Variable Y Minute with your host, The Variable Y. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I had a very long and productive weekend, and I hope you all did the same. And now we're here on Tuesday to wrap it up and talk to you guys about what's going on in the world. And so, like I said, normally there's a lot of serious stuff going on, and I like to come to you guys with some light, something entertaining, and every now and then I like to just pull something out that hopefully you guys will appreciate. I know I do, and I think you guys are nuanced enough to appreciate it as well. And so something happened last night, and I would be remiss if I did not talk about it. At the tail end of Black History Month, I guess we're now out of Black History Month, but something just happened to a Black person in the world of sports that has not happened to many, and I think it actually needs to be celebrated. So we're going to do that, and we are going to talk about it. So for those of you who don't know, or you're new to the show, or you haven't looked at anything I've done before, you haven't checked out my blog that I used to do when I did radio here in Atlanta. It was all right. If you want to check it out, it's the main event at blogspot.com. I think it's still up. Go check it out. So for those of you who don't know, I am a wrestling fan. I am I wouldn't say huge fan. I wouldn't say that I am a fan who is going to be upset about anything. I'm not a fan who's going to try to read any of the spoilers or try to figure anything out by hearing somebody talk about it. If I'm going to figure something out, I would like to try and do it on my own, try to do what they call fantasy book and see if I'm correct about that. That being said, like I said before, I think we'd be remiss if we did not dedicate tonight's show to a major achievement in professional wrestling and more specifically in World Wrestling Entertainment. Last night, Bobby Lashley won the WWE Championship. Now you may say, who's Bobby Lashley? Bobby Lashley is a mountain of a man, number one, and a pretty damn good professional wrestler, and he is a Black dude. Now, and he won the WWE Championship. Now, some of you may also say, well, why is this a big deal? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's a big deal because Bobby Lashley is the third Black person to win the WWE Championship. I'm going through that in my mind, and I believe that is correct. He is the third person to win the WWE Championship. Now, he is not the third Black person to be a WWE World Champion, because they did split the brands and thus they had two championships. So he's not the first person to have a world championship, or the third person to have a world championship in their history, but he is the third to hold the WWE Championship, and that lineage traces all the way back to the 1960s. So one of the three Black people in 60 years to hold the WWE Championship. Obviously, the championship that has been around and has kept its continuity and has kept its relevance since 1960. Now, again, some of you you fans out there of wrestling may say, well, hey, what about the NWA Championship? But again, I said kept its relevancy, and we all know the NWA Championship has not been relevant since it severed ties with TNA. And before that, it was maybe 15, 20 years before, no, I'm sorry, about 10 years before it was relevant, 10 years prior to it being relevant, because it severed ties with WCW, or WCW severed ties with them, and that title was not really recognized as one of the main championships in professional wrestling. So, all of that to say that it is a very big deal that Bobby Lashley has won the WWE Championship. Now, later on, if any of you would like, we can discuss how we feel about that, especially going into WrestleMania. We can discuss if it made sense to pull the title off of Drew McIntyre, to put it on The Miz, to then put it on Bobby Lashley, just to presumably have Lashley go to WrestleMania and fight McIntyre, who's going to win it. Later on, we can talk about if that was fair, if it's fair to any of these three guys, if it's fair to Drew to lose the championship and not go into WrestleMania as a champion. We can talk about, is it fair to Miz to lose the championship right on Raw and not even at the pay-per-view before WrestleMania? Or we can talk about, is it fair to Bobby Lashley to win the championship on Raw, probably go into that pay-per-view, I think it's Fastlane, and then go to WrestleMania and lose it, presumably. But we won't do that tonight. Tonight, we will celebrate Bobby Lashley, the third black man to win the WWE Championship. So, from the Variable Y Minute to you, Bobby Lashley, congratulations. Thank you. Like we thanked Kofi, like we didn't get a chance to because we weren't doing podcasts or videos at the time. But thank you to The Rock as well for you guys continuing to trailblaze for those of us who watch, and for those of us who have small children who watch, who are kind of getting obsessed and who would love to see more faces like them on TV in these big roles. I know that it was a big deal to me when I found out that Ron Simmons won the championship, in WCW, the first major world championship won by a black man, and that was back in 1992, and that was a big deal to me then. So I know that this will be a big deal when my son finally watches it. I think he's trying to catch up on DVR, so when he finally watches it, it'll be a big deal to him. So again, thank you all for what you're doing. You're breaking down barriers, even though, again, in 60 years, it's only been 3. There's a long way they got to go, but thank you guys so much for breaking down those barriers, giving us something to look up to, and we will continue to support you no matter what. So my salute is to you, champ, and the new WWE champion, Bobby Lashley. And we'll continue to see what happens, and hopefully this will be everything you were expecting out of it, because yes, you do deserve it. Like they said, it's been 16 years since he first entered WWE. He's been away and he's come back, and he's been in tip-top shape, and he's looked like a professional wrestler. And he may not have the mic skills of most good professional wrestlers, but he's still a good big man wrestler, and he deserves his day in the sun. So I'm glad he's getting it. So with that said, guys, like I said, I wanted to get off on a little bit of a different kind of show tonight, not normally what we do, but again, we like to do different things here. So I thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Of course, you can catch me over on Instagram at Variable Y all together, or on Twitter at _variable. And of course, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always hit me up in the YouTube chat room. And then of course you can, or should I say comment section. And of course you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until then, I will see you all soon. Thank you so much and have a great night.